2, 3. We're live. Go ahead, Mr. Wade.
Pleasant, pleasant good night to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad, and welcome to our 103rd edition of Belizean Affairs. We are we are sure, you know, coming along, you know, with quite a few programs, and I just hope and pray that our 103 program that we have, 102 program that we have, the years so far has been educational and enlightenment to our Belizean people, because we are about people and nation. We are not about no political party. We are about people and nation. And we call out the ills that our people are facing as I speak. On that note, as always, we start our program with a prayer and then followed by a word. And I want to introduce my co host for tonight as the chairman for the program tonight, Roody Wade, and my co host, Mr. Leonard Brackett. I want to ask him to please lead us in prayer and after a word.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade.
Go ahead,
My name is
Leonard.
Leonard Brackett. I'm one of the panelists on the Belizean Affairs show, and glad to have the privilege accorded to sit in the company of Mr. Wade as the chairman. Follow his directive as for requesting of the prayer and the reading. I'll just bow my head for a second just to do the prayer, please. Divine loving Father, once again we come to thee. We pray that thou mayest hear our prayers and supplication on behalf of ourselves, our family members and friends, our country of Belize, its people and its leadership, this country of the United States, its people and its leadership, and the rest of humanity as well, especially those people who are in harm's way and being hurt for no justifiable reason. We pray on behalf of those people who have need of clothes and shoes and shelter and food, medical assistance, those who are in disaster areas. We pray that thou mayest grant them some relief as well. Thou who art the creator of heaven and earth and all that in them are, we pray that thou mayest continue to abide with us, bless us, give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, endurance, perseverance, and strength, and allow us to present a program that accrues to the benefit and well being of our country of Belize. We pray for Christ's sake. Amen.
Man, thank you, Leonard. Can you please proceed with a word, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The wicked, I'm going to be reading from Proverbs chapter 28, verse 1 and 2. The wicked flee when no man pursue it, but the righteous are bold as a lion. For the transgressions of a land, many are the princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, the state therefore shall be prolonged. Thank you very much, Mr. Wade, for granting me the
Thank
privilege
you.
to participate in tonight's program, to do the prayer and the reading. And that's the end of our reading for tonight.
Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, sir.
And Leonard, we should be joined by Gregory anytime now soon, because anytime he will join in now. So just want the viewers and listeners, of the program to know that he will be joining us
Yes,
shortly.
sir.
Um, Leonard, it's always a pleasure, and I've always said, it's a pleasure to to be in your company and Greg's company. With three of us, we present this program with no biasness and no ill feelings towards anyone. Um, we we have been speaking truth, and we speak from the heart
Mm-hmm.
because we are true patriots, and we love our country, and we love our people. And the three of us, you know um put our heads together. We do this all so that the people the people can understand what's really going on in our country, and we speak out on issues that directly affect our people and our country. We speak out on the good things that happen, and we speak out about the bad things that happen in this country on a daily basis. More bad than the few good that happens in this country. And sadly, over the decades, the bad, in my view, only hurts the poor and less fortunate in this country.
Well,
Because the two-party system that we have in this country over the decade caters only, only, I says, only for their followers, and some of their followers, not all, their family, friends, cronies, and the people that's in their face, right? Around them on a daily basis whenever they are in power. So I say this just to remind my people of the two-party system that has us where we are, where we at 2024. So I say this again to say that, do we deserve better? Hell yes, we deserve better. Why I say we deserve better? Because of the good things. I want to pause right now, and I'm going to welcome Gregory to the show, or panelist Gregory
good night,
Brackett to the show. Good night,
good night,
Greg.
Greg.
Good night, guys. Good night to the people
We
at
have a
home and
feedback.
abroad.
We have a feedback somewhere. Yeah, feedback. Yeah.
Uh, go ahead.
Go
You
ahead,
can
Greg.
have
Go
a
ahead.
few. Good night to the people at home and abroad. Welcome to this 103rd edition of Belizean Affair. Sitting with me virtually, as you well know, the chairman for tonight, Mr. Wade, and my good cousin. Thank you for having me on board, gentlemen. With that said, I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gregory. And again, always, like I say, I thank you for the technical assistance you bring to this show, and your expertise that help us along the way, that help us to show and tell. When we speak about issues and we speak about things, we not only speak about it, Like they say, listen to Mr. Wade when he talk. No, you, Greg, you show it. Also, what we talk about. So I'm very thankful for that energy that you bring to this program. So, like I was saying, about the two-party system we have and where we at, and in 2024, and I was saying, like we deserve better, you know, but I'll say this that the only person or the only ones that can fix this whole, you know, problem we have in this country, nobody else but we the people. Because we the people are the one that have this two-party system the way they are. We give them the power to do the things they do to us,
Mm-hmm.
and we continue to do it. So that means something that, when the UDP is in power, the UDP wants that profit, loves it, and the PUP hates it. And when the PUP is in power, the UDP is crying foul play, and they do not get all the good treatments and thing. So some PUP profit and gain and love it and love the two-party system, right? But all in all, it shouldn't be that way. A UDP government should be a government for all people. All people. If they have goodies, if they have anything to share around or any good for the country, it means that all should enjoy. Not only the same crooks and cronies over and over and over again. These are the things that I so detest. Same as the PUP. And yet they have the gall of guts to say that they love their people. Well, they are people, yes, but then again, they say they love the people and then they love country. That's what they say. You decide. Do everyone get the love? Some of them that I know are dying for hunger, past cronies of the last government, because they are not getting any crumb from the People's United Party government. Should it be that way? Hell no, it shouldn't be that way. Same thing when the UDP in government, and I know they talk no foolishness. The UPs start to, then they grumble because they know they eat. They know they collecting hands out, they know they get the millions, they don't get the contract, they don't get the goodies. Should it be that way? No, but yet these hyenas says that they love everybody. What we need, my people, we need a government that will serve all people and put that partisan crap aside, right? And serve all people, because all people pays taxes. Not only the UDP pay taxes when they are in government, not only the PUP pay taxes, right? So who speak about these things? You hear anybody else talk about these things? No one else. Some may like what we say, and some hate what we say, right? But we speak truth, so they can sue me for what I say. Take me to court, because I can prove it, right? So, like I say, I always say, to my people and nation, as a born Belizean, son of the South, serve my country from the Rio Hondo to the Sarstone, a taxpayer, a voter, and a very independent Belizean who call a spade, and who respect the constitution of this land, and for sure, not a fanatic of no party. a lover of people and nation, and vocal on equal justice for all, and will always want to see a better Belize and to see my people out of poverty, and that they get the same opportunity that the rich and well-to-do, the well-connected, the families and friends of the elected politician and past and present leaders get. I'd like to see the poor and less fortunate get the same treatment elected politician past and present get from this country, and taxpayers, they get a hell of a lot of good things, and after they get it, they ride off in the sunset with it and left a deprived people, right? A battered people, and a nation that suffers. We on the Belizean Affairs program speak on the ills and issues that affect our people, directly affect our people and nation. That is caused by the two-party system that we have for decades now. Time for them to go. When will it stop? And who can make that change? That's a question I put to my people through this program here tonight, right? Who can make that change? Think about it. But the struggle continues. The social ills. We have a lot of social ills. I know I name them. Poverty. But yet you hear the government now, especially Prime Minister, speak about poverty, right? Percentage in this country. Not much poverty because he have it under control. Now come from my mouth. The injustice. Lot of that injustice in this country. Lot of injustice in pain inflicted on the poor and less fortunate, the poor one who cannot afford good representation in a court of law. And they already know that, you not got the money for get an attorney, so you're doomed. You're doomed. And they use their executive power. That's the thing that hurts me, right? They use their power because they are Mr. This and Mr. That and area rep and this a CEO and BO and UO. So they use that against our people. And they do us and they want us to call them Mr. and Mrs. Right? When you don't give them the power, you don't vote for them, you don't pay them. And they look down upon you and they do your things. Right? And what happened to you, like I said, the poor man? No justice in this country for us. One man call us the common people. Man on the Constitution Reform Committee, he said the common people, common man, that's his word. Well, he is not a common man, that's for sure. But I am a common man. So I suffer on a both system, right? Do we deserve that and we not for talk about it? I will stop talking about it when I leave this sinful earth. That's when I'll stop talk about it. The draconian laws they pass, and I know I say it because a lot of that pass. And who you affect? No affect the prime minister, no affect no minister, no representative, and they make sure they put some clause in it that affect them none at all. Right? In fact, they could do you. They could just pass and hear you the talk about them and then could have you arrested. Yes, these are the laws, kind of laws that they pass and in pain they inflict on the poor people of this nation. Right? And when they talk no rocket science, I talk truth. Right? Now, the unemployment, you hear the Prime Minister talk about what? Unemployment is at 3.something%, 3.6. Now he must say, lately it may be when he come again and for the next breast beefing, it will be 1 point something, right? You mark my word, right? The inflation, poor people, they feel it. High food price. And when I talk about things that affect my people, the everyday people that goes to the grocery store and goes to the fuel pump. Because we, the local, no carry a fuel order book that is sustained by the taxpayers of this country. And I will not say all who carry that fuel order book. So, do they have any interest in bringing down fuel? Do they have any interest in visiting? They say they're visiting the Chinese stores and the stores that is price gouging. Hell no. Prices are going up on a weekly basis in this country. And as for the last venom that Minister of Agriculture has spewed it out, that he will have this thing on account. Anybody gonna jail it? Any ticket issue it? No. These stores are continuously on a weekly basis jacking up the prices on these basic food items that shouldn't be going up, none at all. Shouldn't. But it's happening. It's happening, right? And I just hope that this echo into the Prime Minister's ears and that man, Mr. Mai, no even remember his first name, though the Agriculture Minister, because see that the man talk about he's on top of price gouging. Damn lie, right? Now, our failing healthcare system, we talk about it as a system that is on life support. Not to get better. And my people don't see any pillow gone up yet for that $90 million state-of-the-art hospital. Yet, when this man could have used some of this money and equip our healthcare facilities that is on life support, that has nothing. As I speak, patient has to go out to outside sources to get their specialty service done. Who does not know what I'm talking about? Specialty service means an EKG, some technical blood works, and heart monitors, and other specialty service, right? They have to go to outside sources, right, as I speak, but yet they have it under control. We hear the venom that comes out of Bernard's mouth. You hear the venom that comes out of the Prime Minister's mouth. The amount of time, amount of money they went for the same CT scan machine over and over, and they can't get it yet, right? But they get money already for it 3 times already that they speak about, right? Maybe they still build the wing that they're going to put that EKG machine. I mean that CT scan. They still build it. Don't build it because, maybe they lack a cement or something, right? So, that is so sad, and then when more sad, past and present government, they use the education system as a pawn, as one political prey, right? Because every time they come and they said a free education, the people ain't get free. The past government said a free education. This one here got a lot of more freeness. I want this man, Mr. Fonseca, tell me what is free. Because he mentioned that up to uniform they get free. And food, pantry, that is schools. Man, watch what you're saying, Because I could take you to some schools, public schools, when I get one. Powder bun, free. And where these parents have to buy their own picnic uniform. But you said they get free uniform. You said it come out your mouth. So for me, it's just a political crap, right? That want to sell into the people again. And sadly, some people bite it, right? But my people, Nothing in that is free. Okay? Past and present. So we see the gang violence, right? Where the young black youths killing up each other, ethnic cleansing, right? That's a form of ethnic cleansing in my view, and no one seems to care. But the two-party system use it for their political mileage because this one comes say you ain't got it under control. The next one come, no worry, I fix it this time. Yeah, that's what this minister said the last time who in charge. He said he may fix it. He got the antidote for that, right? Where are we at now? 2024. Is it fixed? Now we see the uprising in the north with the cane farmers, right? And in the south with the so-called Mayan land claim as I speak, right? So what is that telling you? I talk about a little ratchet that has a little notch. And every time that little notch is tightening around the people's neck, right? It tightening it, nothing it come back where it could loose up. No, it stay the tighten, right? And this is already catch we here in this country. This two-party system, they tighten that notch around our neck. And sadly, at some point, we are going to be suffocated, right? That is what is going to happen to us. That is because that is what they're doing to us, right? We see the port war, especially the Portico deal, right? And we know who is behind that. And we see the cake, the big light cake where Mr. Ashcroft get again, right? Get it again, And he put it so nicely that Mr. Ashcroft gave us the people, a good deal, right? A good deal, right? Oh, and I don't hear elaborate much on that, because that's public knowledge, right? Who believe that, right? Now, not forget us. No, make we not forget the ICJ, right? Right? And not forget the tampering with our constitution, right? When it happened, right? Not forget that. And now I elaborate much on that because the ICJ went up a lot of way where say we jaw and drop when that ruling come. It went drop. Okay? And who got us there? Who got us there? Did Guatemala chase us there? Did we have to go there? How many decades we live with this thing around our neck? Did they hang me? No. But no, they took us to get hanged now. Who did that? I know a lot of them vex with what I say, but I speak my mind and I could do whatever I want to do when I don't speak my mind, right? Now, the country now, wind down, let's just bear with me, right? Now the country is in election mode, You see band-aid fixes all over the place. You see picture them where they work and then nothing changed, the same thing happened in the last election. Nothing changed. And they make it in our way now that the PUP they work for we now. First, in the last government, they make it in a way that then they work for we. Now they make it in a way now that these are the best thing that happened to we Belizean, the PUP, because look where all the white man when they dump on the street again and the health hazard and it create in across this nation, right? And then they work right now. And sadly, after March 6th, these guys gonna go dormant. Dormant. Nothing will change, right? And they will say they did a good job for the people and nation. And with no accountability, right? They are in election mode right now, right? Letting it look like, they are working, spending the PUP money and doing the people a big favor. That's how this two-party system has us. And the length they will go to spend millions on and bring in support from across the border. past and present government do it, you know. They say how much money they were spent to bring in voters from over the side, manufactured voters. I personally had made this public on several elections in this country that mass migration of Guatemalans coming over to vote to the length and breadth of this country by busload. Then come off the busload, go vote, then come back in and get their $50 and then multiply that by 3 or 4 because after they turn it into quetzal, that's a lot of money. Put back, load back into this on these buses like pigs, and they take back over and dump across the border. And they go wait for another election. They're the one that decide our election. Come to decide our election. You hear a leaked video of the Prime Minister, John Briceño. Leaked video, he will say that. I don't know for his voice, and I know him. Right? He could say that. The amount of money he will give on that day. Right? And now we got into that because we could play a video.
$15,000 and so yeah.
Right?
10,000 t-shirt.
That's right. You know, that's where this two-party system has us. The UDP do the same crap. Right? So, you know, I will end by saying, you know, because it's very disturbing, man. And who talks about these things and like everything is okay after it's all said and done and they get their vote and they get them whoever win or whatever. No, it's okay. People not for say nothing. People will forget and you move on for the next election. So sad, you know. So sad. Right? But I feel for my Belizean people, right? Because they know they see better. Right? And the only way they could see better, I appeal to you now that put your vote on anything otherwise than on PUP and on UDP, man. You know, for change, man. Right? Try them. You never know. You never know what you will get. How you will say what you will get if you don't try them. Right? But you know damn sure what you will get if you vote for the PUP and the UDP. You know sure what you will get. So, you know, I call a spade, you know. Right? And like I say, you know, may God bless Belize. Right? And may God bless our people. And thank you guys for bearing with me to vent that little frustration there. Thank you guys. Right? And Greg, you have something you want
yes, Mr. Chairman. So just to back you up on what you were saying, I will go to the first one about the laws they are trying to make to silence people.
Colleagues this morning. Madam President, the NTUCB has a few concerns regarding this bill before us. And while, as everyone has said, I support the comments made by my colleagues, we feel that we are moving away somewhat from using or requiring proof for some of these things. When we are looking at, for example, you can be held accountable if I hear that you say something or you say a bad word, you know, as we call it, just by those persons, you know, indicating that they heard me say these things. That can be problematic for me as an individual. That is the view of the NTUCB in terms of reviewing this bill before us, and we feel that while we understand the purpose of the bill and while it is that we want to ensure that we are not encouraging our citizens, you know, threatening others and doing all of these sorts of things, we have to be very careful that putting this portion in here is not going to affect people's right in terms of your right to freedom of speech. And that's a huge concern for us that we share as it relates to this bill. Again, Madam President, we do understand that we want to have a society that is disciplined, you know, that has certain behavior, but there's a thin line here when we include these words such as whether directly or within hearing, that may create mischief. Because, for example, we were discussing that, let's say, for example, a police officer were to, hold you for something, in the process of arresting you for something, and maybe somebody else is shouting at you or telling you something while you are being transported, and you may utter profanity, might not be to the officer or about the officer, but it might be just that you're speaking to the other person who might be around. The NTUCB feels that can create some unnecessary issues, and so I think, again, the essence of what is here is supported. However, I think that this portion of this bill will create some issues in terms of people's freedom and people's rights. And so I don't know how we can look at that. In relation to the categories listed, yes, we do support those. I'm not sure about the elected official, because that's another matter again. How we view that and what it is that we are trying to, is it that we can no longer say certain things to elected officials, when we feel that they are not doing what they ought to be doing, because you have to be very careful what you say and how you say things, because you can be in trouble as well, right? And it's not just, we're going to be charged something, right? It's conviction to imprisonment for 3 years. So as union leaders, we all know that we are often in this back and forth, especially with government officials. And sometimes things do get heated. And if it is that, we tired of Ms. Smith, and tired of Ms. Smith, they put me to shame, and Ms. Smith putting things out there about us as a union leader, we'll deal with her now to utter these words. And I heard you say these things, so let's go. 3 years imprisonment, you can't do any more union function. So those are the concerns that we have, and we are to ensure that, in putting things in place, we don't infringe in our rights as Belizeans, as given to us by our Constitution. Thank you, Madam President.
You heard the first one, Mr. Chairman, about the making of laws to silence the people. And now we go to one that is very much
Greg,
unconstitutional.
Greg,
Yes.
can I answer to that one before we move on?
Go ahead,
Yes,
Leonard.
you
Go
can,
ahead.
sir.
Yeah,
If you don't mind, please.
Go ahead.
Just a second. I'm just trying to turn this thing sideways so I could see it better, no? Just give me a second. I want to make a comment as regards to how the Constitution speaks to these issues, because while the House of Representatives and the Senate is empowered to make laws, they're not empowered to make bogus laws or unconstitutional laws under the guise of lawmaking. That is to say, they are empowered to make laws for the benefit, well-being, health, and safety of the society. But they're not empowered to make laws that contravenes people's civil rights, basic rights, or laws that destroys the separation of powers, or laws that, there are different, there are restrictions that they have on the assembly. And I heard Mr. Mr. Perefit made a statement in the House the other day when he was debating a point as regards to whether or not, if the court decides one thing in interpreting the laws that are on the book, then the legislator has the obligation, if they disagree with what the court says, to make additional or amended laws to correct the variance. That is true. But the way he postulated his statement is that the legislator is supreme, and that was totally out of order. I would hope that you take that back, that statement, and apologize to the public for it, because that is not the way he should have expressed that particular point. The point was, and duly taken, that the legislator is empowered to make laws, full stop. Within the powers of lawmaking, they got to restrict their lawmaking to the constitutional bounds, because any other law that is made by the legislature contrary to the Constitution, that is violative of the Constitution, according to the Constitution itself, should be considered as being null and void, which is why our government and the UDP and PUP have been going to the court and losing those cases. And they're upset about that, and therefore now they want to take powers onto themselves to stop the court from having a judicial review on the bogus laws that they create. It's not because they don't know that these laws are bogus. They're just putting those laws on the book and have people getting hurt by it, especially people that don't have money to fight no cases against the government. And a lot of people are being hurt and have been hurt. There's a particular case that I would like to discuss tonight as we go on with this presentation later on. I would like to bring up some of those same things I'm making reference to, but I would like to read this particular part of the Constitution that is germane to what Ms. Elena was talking about just now, so that people can hear it not necessarily in her words, but actually from the Constitution itself. The Belize Constitution, Cap 4, Part 3, Section 12, and I'll read subsection 1 of Section 12. And it says like this: except with his own consent, a person, meaning a Belizean, whether a woman or man, shall not be hindered in the enjoyment of his freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions without interference by the government, freedom to receive ideas and information without interference by the government, freedom to communicate ideas and information without interference from the government, whether that communication be to the public generally or to any person or class of persons, and freedom from interference with his correspondence. So when they're in the House trying to modify the laws that exist on the books, especially the particular law that we're referring to that was being discussed in the Senate recently, I think it was last Friday or Friday before, I don't remember the exact date. But that law that they were discussing was something that they had proposed before that went through the House, and now it's in the Senate. Most of the lawyers in cabinet, as a matter of fact, most of the members of cabinet are lawyers and are supposed to know and understand what is it that I'm articulating here, because they're all seasoned lawyers or experienced lawyers. And these matters have been brought to their attention, yet they persist in wanting to act as scofflaws, to make unconstitutional and illegal laws under the guise of law-making powers. That's an abuse of our system. That's a contravention of the intent of the Constitution and the preamble of our Constitution, which is what empowers the laws of the Constitution and the citation of the Constitution. And all these gentlemen and ladies know enough to recognize that to be a fact. Yet they persist in making these bogus laws. And when poor people get caught up in these laws and don't have money to hire a lawyer, they get crushed. Some of them go to jail. Right now, the person that I was going to talk about later on is sitting in jail because of these same trumped up bogus laws. When taken to the court, they end up to lose the case. But people have already at that time spent days, weeks, months, and years in prison waiting for their case to be heard. And or if they are convicted on the bogus laws, they have to appeal, hoping that the case get overthrown And if they don't win at the appeal, if they have money to go forward, that they can go to the highest court and hoping that the highest court will recognize the travesty that had taken place. But by then, they already spent a lot of money and days and weeks and months in jail. I'll come back to the point. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to read that stuff, backing up what Mr. Leonard was saying.
Go ahead, Greg.
These guys are a bunch of star flies.
With the next, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My good cousin, you are perfectly right. Because I can prove undoubtedly, as our chairman said, bastardization of the Constitution with unconstitutional laws that they are making. And I will prove one as you just did. But first, let's go to the state.
On Thursday, members of the Senate debated a controversial amendment to the Families and Children Act.
The biological father, the biological parents of a child should under no circumstances be relieved of the responsibility of maintaining their children and putting it on the shoulders of someone else.
The legislative amendment was encouraged by a High Court ruling back in September 2023. The court ruled that Section 48, subsection 1 of the Families and Children Act was discriminatory.
That section is discriminatory because it imposes a liability on a man to maintain not only his children, but also to maintain the children of his wife who are living with him at the time, whether those children are his biologically or not.
But the High Court ruling in favor of the unconstitutional.
Now, Mr. Chairman, I will prove that to you. That law was discriminatory, and they just amended it and brought back another discriminatory one against grandfathers and grandmothers. And I will tell you why. My good cousin, can you bring up Section 8 of our Constitution, please?
Section 8, you said?
Section 8, yeah.
Section 8 of the Constitution.
Yeah.
I will tell you why it is discriminatory. A court or legislators, not the court, cannot make a contract between families.
Section 8.
Section 8.
Can you read that for me?
Section 8, subsection 1. No person shall be held in slavery or servitude. Subsection 2. No person shall be required to perform forced labor. And subsection 3 says, for the purposes of this section, the expression forced labor does not include the following, and it goes on to the essence of the point.
Stop right there.
Yeah, the essence of the point I think you're trying to bring across, though, is that you cannot emburden anyone and violate their constitutional as well as civil and fundamental rights.
You are correct.
Thank you.
Grandparents are being forced by law. That is discriminatory, and that is forced labor to mind their grandchildren.
By the way, when you say law, and it's being done by law, it's being done by other law that is violative of our Constitution. And these people, like I said, are lawyers, and they know that. But they make money off of people having to fight these cases in court.
So, anyway, guys, you see that, Greg? You see what I always talk about, right? None of these, let me bear with me a little bit here, guys. None of these senators went up there to pass laws And they know darn well that they are violating the Constitution. They never mention about what's in the Constitution and what should or should not happen. They ride along with the government business, right? That lady did not mention, well, they are violating the Constitution. She knows damn well but they are violating the Constitution, right? So why is she there? Why is she there? They all follow the lead of the government, the intention of the government, and they push through the government's agenda, right? So why are we paying these people? Why are we paying them? It's a damn shame. Who is there to fight for the poor man? Who is there to fight when their constitutional rights are being violated? Who? Back to you, Greg.
It goes beyond that, Mr. Chairman. It goes far beyond that. From the time they had passed the PCC Act, the government and the Attorney General personally, I believe, started bastardization of the Constitution. If it was not for this good gentleman who put them to shame, as I always say, they get caught by what? Telling on themselves. When the Attorney General and the Prime Minister came up and said, but there's a referendum act in the PCC Act, which was bogus, knowing that it was not passed into law, and they were just doing what we would call confrontation. Let's hear it for itself.
Persons that represents a cross-section of our nation, what it is that we have been tasked to do. And the main issue that the PCC has taken on board is that before we can consult with Belizeans on what they would want to repeal or amend or change in their constitution, should first begin with, do we know what is in this document? And so the starting point would be awareness and education. So from June to, sounds like the hurricane season, June to November, but from June to December 15th or beyond, 2023, the PCC has chosen its approach to this document by launching what we call public outreach campaign, which is what we're doing here tonight. And this is what we're doing in other areas. And even in the diaspora, we have Zone 5, which is talking to the Belizeans who live in the diaspora. So it's a comprehensive approach to try to engage the people of Belize at home and abroad on what we're doing. So this awareness campaign is of critical importance. Next year, God willing, we come back into the communities, having heard what you will probably be expressing tonight, how you will respond to the citizens survey, and maybe questions and concerns you have, to consult with you. So tonight,
what is
bunch of crap.
Mr. Chairman, the good gentleman put the Attorney General and the Prime Minister to shame. He specified that it was an awareness campaign. And with that said, you cannot go there misleading the people into believe that that is law. When you say that there is a referendum act in the PCC Act, so they both have that knowing that that is bogus and not law. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. Go ahead, Leonard. You want to go ahead? Your turn. 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, sir. First, to what Mr. Chanana was saying, we have always heard, especially people who listen to this program, we on this program referring to people who are doing the biddings of the Prime Minister and who are doing it despite knowing otherwise or knowing or being smart enough to know otherwise. We always class them as what? Knowing what? Their assignments, right? Mr. Javosevic's top international court lawyer did not understood his assignment or what was requested of him, at least as per the Prime Minister's expectation. But this good gentleman, Mr. Chanona, does understand his assignment according to the Prime Minister. And as far as I could see, he very much appears to understand his assignment because he's going about that assignment, effectively. While at the same time knowing what the facts are. For example, that we have told him 98% of our people in Belize are not familiar with the Constitution. And therefore, before they started doing their educational campaign, that was one of the things that we were beating them over the head about. How can they expect to go there and have our Constitution changed without an education process that enable the people to learn as much as they can about the Constitution before they have to answer any questions or answer any issue as regards to what they want to take out from what's supposed to be in the Constitution currently? They went about starting a little education campaign.
Sorry, my brother, I gotta laugh on that one.
And he was referring to the education campaign that would have lasted at least up to this November or December, which has already passed. As of today, date that we are having this discussion on this panel here right now, I bet none of them could point out to any of us or the general public of that 98%, how much of those people are any much more familiar with their Constitution today to be able to eviscerate the whole Constitution and decide to go ahead and ask for a new one. They would not be able to answer, and they would never ever answer the question if that question was to be put to them. In other words, the effectiveness of their constitutional campaign education program. How much effort have they put in? How much people have they reached? How much people have learned? And how much more are the people who are supposed to be in a position to answer the questionnaires that they already put out, by the way, and have been asking people questions about without the people having been educated yet? It's an agenda.
I mean,
the Prime Minister said that he had this Constitutional Reform Commission that, according to him, he couldn't do no kind of changes on our laws because of that Constitution Commission being in play, like what the Attorney General himself also said. And therefore, according to the Prime Minister, when he was saying that he could not follow the law, because if he didn't have that Constitution Commission in place, he then would have followed the law. Got caught with his own mouth again, right? Tell on himself.
exactly.
Within the one sentence statement right there. He lied when they asked him the question, is he frustrating the efforts? Is he violating the Constitution? He said, no, I'm not violating the Constitution, but I'm violating it because of the Constitution Commission that he has in play. Now, which one of those statements we should accept as being true or plausible? When in
Which
fact,
one is true?
The Constitution Commission work hasn't been completed, far from having educated anybody, or at least most of the people, because you'd expect that when you talk about changing your Constitution, you'd want the majority of people in your country, at least 50+% of the population,
One
to
more
be on
minute
top of
there.
the business
One more
before they
minute,
start.
Leonard. Yeah,
Yes,
one more
sir.
minute.
Before
Yeah.
they start answering the questions, right? And then he will say that they can't do nothing until the Constitutional Review Commission finishes its job. Now, why don't they sit down at home instead of go to the assembly and keep making bogus laws then? Stay home. Wait till the Constitutional Commission finishes work, give it to them, and according to the Constitutional Commission, they feel like what they're doing and what they deliver to the Prime Minister is what the Prime Minister is going to put to the House to be voted on. And before they started their process, I was pointing out to them when they were having their meetings to get together that wasn't going to happen because that wasn't part of the agenda.
Thank
And
you,
that,
Leonard.
yes, sir, one more second, 5 seconds more. Just want to close that. That in effect, the Prime Minister will take whatever they give to him, finagle with it in cabinet, discuss it in cabinet, and decide what they're going to put. Because the Prime Minister have the final say, what he going to put to the Congress for voting on. So we'll discuss that some more. We have discussed it in the past.
Yes.
We'll discuss it
Thank
in the
you.
future.
So
it's a
right.
bamboozling process.
Very educational. So right, Leonard. Truth. Greg, I want to ask, how many years did Barbados take to reform their constitution?
It take them 8 years, the Bahamas.
Okay, and it still didn't. Sorry, the Bahamas
They still didn't complete.
And it still didn't complete,
Still
right?
didn't complete the whole thing. But
And how many?
everything they did was in favor of the populace. They
And how?
strengthened it for them.
Greg, one more question to you. And how many months does Belize this government want to complete that? 18 months?
18 months.
Okay, go ahead there, Greg. Go ahead.
Most of
You got your 5 minutes.
most of that 18 months have already expired, by the way, without enough teaching.
Okay. Go ahead, your 5 minutes
But-
there, Greg.
Crazy,
But
man.
tonight, Mr. Chairman, I'm just trying to bring back everything that we had said on Belizean affairs that we are using to educate our people at home and abroad about what is happening in this country. I have said on more than one occasion that past and present government cannot deal with external policy, much less internal policies. And just to prove that again, I want you to hear our Prime Minister, because we are still having incursion in the Sarassoon.
Of course, when he was in Belize in December, we had a very long meeting of probably about 2 hours, expressing ideas, and he was the one that immediately said, listen, I want to build on what has been left by President Jamatei, he was the one that brought up the issue of the ICJ and said, listen, we will respect whatever ruling the ICJ has, but between now and then, let's strengthen the relationship between in commerce and trying to proceed with the trade agreement that we have, continue that negotiation to include more products, look at sports, education. There's so much going on. Look at the issue of security, which is very important for.
Mr. Chairman,
Greg,
if this
Go ahead,
is
Greg.
true,
one point, quick. Anybody remember what the purpose of the 13th proposal and 17th proposals was about? Belize working with Guatemala being we being a vassal state to Guatemala, okay?
right,
In other
with
words,
them having oversight.
and they have been putting those same things into practice from then till now, little by little.
Well,
Go ahead, Greg,
let
with
me
your
say
5
this.
minutes here.
Since the heads of agreement and the workshop proposal, nothing has ever changed. What they are doing is they are just coming
Implementation.
up with those same proposals with different names, and
They're
nothing has
implementing.
changed, right? But what I was about to say is this. You heard our Prime Minister said that the President-elect of Guatemala says he will honor the ICJ. If this was so, why couldn't there have been an open conversation as to the incursion into the Sarassoon? That should have been stopped forthwith. Forthwith. And that is not happening. So something has to be wrong. Because a president who come and visit you and has those topic conversations could simply call off his troops or in black name his dog. He could simply tell them, you know what, respect the sovereignty of Belize until we go to the ICJ. I
But
turn
Greg,
it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
oh sorry,
Thank you, thank you, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, he, the president cannot do what Gregory stipulated just now, even though that would be the smart political thing to do in terms of foreign affairs between the two countries and to solve or to try and tamp it down. But he would have a problem on his hand at home in his own country because his constitution says that Belize es de Guatemala y lo conseguiremos por la razón o por la fuerza. Belize belongs to Guatemala and we will get it by reason or by force. And unless they take that out of their constitution, no president or any other minister or other government official can make any difference in that regards. If he try to stipulate anything other than what is in the constitution, if they don't take it out, he's as good as a dead person walking.
But my good cousin, let's not forget that there were two Guatemalan presidents who had recognized Belize independence, and that had only changed over the years as to the entering of Belize into their constitution. So let's not forget that presidents have come and gone.
Greg, the entering of Belize into the constitution was over 100 years ago, okay?
Right, I know that, but
the president that recognized Belize was a few decades ago. We're putting chronology and history in order, okay?
Right.
Because you know why people get the wrong impression. That's all I was trying to do.
Anyway, guys, I say it. Greg, I'm with you, right? I'm with you. If the president says to his commander-in-chief, man, that problem in the Sarstoon, this is how it should go, or this is how I want it to go, or it should stop, right? Until, right? But how are they going to negotiate that when that's not even in the thinking of our prime minister, right? That's not even, that's not of importance. I mean, why say this? I speak about experience, right? I could talk about from the 70s and 80s. We didn't have that problem. We didn't have that problem. When I was in the system, in the security force, it patrolled that the Sarsoon with no hindrance. Right? And I'm not talking nothing out of space.
Mr. Chairman, right? At that time, contextually, at that time, we still had the British breathing down the Guatemalan neck. Okay?
It was after the British had left, right? After the British had left.
The British didn't
then
left.
Until lately, my experience. I'm talking my experience. I'm not talking.
The British left in the
Let me finish, Leonard. Let me finish. Yeah, let me finish. I'm talking my experience, right? Until lately, we start having these interference, these confrontation. I'm talking about my experience. I didn't experience that. And we used to pass each other for information for the public out there, right? We used to pass each other, right? Even Belize wasn't even, we didn't have a defense force yet. It was the police special unit along with the British soldier. We traversed each other. That's education out there for those who do not know.
That's precisely my point.
Right? Until lately, we start having, because it's not on the agenda of this prime minister and past prime minister. Right? See where he run us to? Like I said in my update to the ICJ. Did we had to go there? Did Guatemala had gun on the borders pointing at us? I'm saying that's where we at. But this man, this leader that we have, could have said to this good gentleman, don't know his name, right? But this Guatemala president doesn't really,
Mr. Chairman,
could have said, please, man, please, let's live neighborly, man. Let it be like it used to be until after the ICJ.
We don't
I
have any
think that
leverage.
man,
We're a defenseless papa. We
I
don't
think
have any
that
leverage. We're avoiding
Guatemalan
it.
president would have seen the logic of that, and then we wouldn't be having this confrontation and this what we continue to have
Mi-
on a monthly basis, right? Until one
Mr.
day, guys,
Mr. Chairman,
it's going to spill
Greg, give me
over.
a shot. Give me a shot.
Go
Mr.
ahead there,
Chairman,
Leonard.
we people in Belize have never seen, except maybe on TV or in movies, we have never seen a hyena take away a lion's lunch. Okay? Because it
They
shouldn't be
try.
real. It
They
shouldn't
try.
be real. The lion is the king of the jungle. But hyenas snatch lion's lunch and go with it. And the lion refused to do anything about it. Okay?
I've seen it, yeah.
When you're a subordinate power, when you're an independent country, as Greg, remember you always say, no country is, according to the UN criteria, no country should give another country independence if that country does not have a means of defending himself or themselves, either a military, an air force, or a navy, or some kind of means to defend themselves or guarantee their own independence and the territorial integrity of their country. That is what Britain was ordered to do before we got our independence. And Britain agreed with that, and they said they was going to stay in Belize, as a matter of fact, beyond the independence date, up to a certain time. It wasn't going to be forever. That time came and they went. But because the Queen or the British Empire is still the sovereign of Belize for right now, at least, until these guys get us into a republic, which is what they're after. But until they get there, we're still under the sovereignty and the protection of the British monarch. Whether it be a queen who has already died or the king who is now there, the bottom line is that Guatemala is under no illusion that they should step to Belize and try to take any territory in Belize militarily. Because they've already been told exactly what will happen to them by the time they go back to their capital. They won't find it existing. Okay? And that's why the United States puts pressure on Guatemala to make sure that Guatemala does not get out of control and end up getting itself hurt. Because the United States and Britain are better friends than the United States and Guatemala. But the United States and Guatemala are better friends than the United States and Belize. But Belize is a friend and a protectorate.
Mute your mic there a little bit, Greg.
Yeah. Okay, but
one
I'm
more
going
minute there, Leonard.
But the bottom line is one and the same. Guatemala is only behaving and trying to con for we leaders, them who believe in hobnobbing and go drink up liquor and whatever, it's not, cocktail and so on with them guys over there. And then guys over there, they encourage them to come and enjoy and have fun with them. But it's all a pattern of convenience. If we can't get you one way, we'll get you the next way. That's what's in their constitution. Por la razón o por la fuerza, by reason or by force. But if we knucklehead politicians them are willing to allow these guys to use their reasoning over them, then that's another way of doing it too. And the bottom line is that we, the Belizean people, have no leaders of that quality or that kind of status that will protect us against this kind of connivingness. As a matter of fact, they cooperate with it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So true. Go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, as I was saying, the Prime Minister could have had a good talk with the President of Guatemala, and they could have stopped that. You know why?
They're a different status.
I said.
Hold on, Greg. Hold on, Leonard.
They're different status. One man is way down here, the next man is way up there.
No, I will tell you why.
Go ahead, Greg.
I don't believe that. I will tell you why. Right? Because if you recall, I said that the past and present government cannot take care of external or internal. There's an internal force that are who? Citizens of what country? Let's play the tape.
You're right. We're in the business of politics, and people will say things, and you can't be thin-skinned in this. You have to be motivated by criticism, be challenged by criticism, and try to do better all the time. I don't know that that is the position of the minister. I think ultimately she's done she's done a lot of heavy lifting since we got in. Like, she's met with these communities over and over a long period of time. Almost every weekend they are down there trying to engage with the communities, trying to reach some sort of understanding, some consensus as to the way forward. Like, know that this issue has been with us for years and years and years. It's a vexing issue. It's a difficult issue, and everybody won't be happy. And so that's like, she has a string and needle, and that's going to be hard. But the only way to get that done is by talking to each other, by engaging with each other, by sitting down with each other and trying to give and take, try to compromise, try to see eye to eye, because ultimately it's about Belize. We're one nation, we're one people, and it's about making sure that
Mr. Chairman, the good minister said it's about Belize, and as I rightfully said, how can we trust them to take care of the ICJ, which is an external affair, when they can't even deal with these people internally that is trying to take over the whole Southern District?
Facilitation, my
Now,
cousin.
imagine, with that said, Mr. Chairman, as I have always said, I commend you for doing what most people would not do, but because you are an aspiring and new politician, hoping to be victorious in what you are doing, I think at this time it is only fair that we should give you that honor.
My people and residents of the Twin Town, I come to you again as your independent candidate for mayor for a change. We are in election mode, as you can see. Any change? And sadly, after it's over, we are back to square one with this two-party system that has us in this struggle in life and divide us. We see who benefits when the People's United Party in power and when the UDP is in power. Should it be that way? No. I will be a mayor for all, not only a few. I will serve you all. I will treat all with dignity and respect. I am passionate for equal rights and justice for all. We are all equal in the eyes of God. May God bless us all as we are still a godly nation. In Jesus' name, amen. And I have with me some pillows as my manifesto. If I get elected, my first priority is a complete audit and make the findings publicly, right? Visit all streets and do a proper assessment. Implement proper drainage system, proper traffic policy, license policy, proper signage on all streets, naming of streets, and proper lighting, which we are so lacking. Putting in speed bumps in residential area, because we could see what happened in the area we live in. The vehicles that traverse around and around, they don't respect, right? So we'll put in speed bumps, fix all streets properly, no band-aid fixes, proper market policy, reduce market fees, proper garbage pickup, free. Big garbage pickup, free. Animal control policy, abandoned lots policy, a pardon on back taxes for the elderly, create a more friendly town council, renegotiate the tax imposed by the taxes association, and a proper system for the association. Create a clean and healthy town for all to enjoy. fear in small businesses of trade licensing, right? Because they have people going around and start questioning, people doing little business out of their home. For me, there will be a no. There will be no taxes for people doing businesses out of their home. That's a no, right? And there are lots of. I will make sure that I create jobs, right? I'm very passionate for the youth, very passionate, and single mothers. So, come March 6th, if you want a change, and there are a lot more that can be done, because a lot can be done with the money and taxes collect in this municipality. If you don't steal it, if you don't embezzle it, if you don't put it where it's not supposed to be, this is the chaos that we're going to have, right? And sadly, the only time you see them working is when an election is right around the corner, right? Oh, that's the only time. So sad. So sad. So, with me, if I get elected, it'll be work from day one. I will not wait for when the next election to come so that I could, show that the people that I am working. No, right? I'll put the money where it belongs. It's not my money. It's the people's money, right? So, come March 6th, you deserve better. Elect me, Roody Wade, as your mayor, and for sure you will see change. And if you want that change, I am the only change that will be on that ballot box come March 6th. May God bless you, and may God bless Belize. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, the IT man behind here. Thank you very much for for supporting
Well
me.
said, Mr. Chairman.
Surprise me there. Thank you again to Leonard. Thank you very much for the support, my brother.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks
We
for
need more people like you, Mr.
everything.
Wade. We
Everything
need more committed people, honest
thank you.
people, and people that are forthright and putting the country first, rather than put
Exactly.
party first and put themselves and their family and other cronies,
Exactly.
ahead of the whole
And
country. It's all about themselves.
exactly. And
Anyhow,
I like to say this too.
we have a few more minutes now, so
Yeah.
I
I like
know.
to say this, that
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
like what's really going on in our country. It's time for people to wake up. And better could be done. And they deserve better. And through this medium, I call on all independent thinkers, all independent people that who want better for their country, both at home and abroad. Put your name down. Your country need you right now. If you're following what's going on in our country, these are some crucial time in our country. Pretty soon, if something does not break, something does not happen, man, we are out for some doom days ahead of us, right? And the only thing that will slow this system down and slow this two-party system down is an independent party to step in, right? And some godly leaders that put God first and know that there is a God, right? Not the devils that surround us, right? So I call on independent thinkers. Put your name down
Chairman,
for this next
Mr.
election
Chairman,
coming up. Thank you.
while you are calling on independent thinkers and independent voters, I will call on our grandfather and grandmother who the government wants to take away the little money that they don't have, who the government wants to impose laws on them and constitutionally. I want those grandmothers and grandfathers to stand up for their rights. That
Exactly.
is what I have to say with that.
You have 3 minutes, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to go back to the point that I raised in the beginning of the show about these unconstitutional laws that are being put on the book gratuitously. with no heart, I would say, because these people know that these laws somewhere, somehow, at some point, going to affect somebody. More likely than not, they believe that it's not going to affect them, and which in most cases it doesn't. And if it affects them, they have their own deep pocket where they could defend themselves or hire a lawyer to defend them, and they have the purview of the government coffers, so under which they can claim, okay, well, as ministers and or as area representatives and or as people of the higher level, because what they're trying to do is violate the Constitution when the Constitution says that all of us are equal under the law, Section 6. But they are trying to create different layers or tiers of people. If you fall into a certain category, you're as good as done because you don't have no money to buy your food, much less to go hire any liar. If you get accused, like what I did with this young man, Budna, the other day, okay, just recently here, when one area representative from Corozal North, I mean not Corozal North, Orange Walk North, who was a minister in cabinet at some point, but was relieved from that particular responsibility. He is now having a beef with this young man who is a reporter, an independent reporter, who earns his living by doing his reporting work. He's accusing this young man of having said things about him or to him, according to this new law that they're trying to put in place right now. Well, of course, the law was in place already. They're trying to modify it. They just modified it a little while back, and they're coming to modify it now again. But the essence of the law is punitive to people who do not have the ability to defend themselves or hire a lawyer to defend them, as in the case of this young man. What is happening in our country is a travesty because, first and foremost, the government should not be making any bogus laws or any laws that's going to hurt only certain section of the population as compared to all of us. All the laws are supposed to, across the board, affect each and every one of us equally.
Exactly.
And they cannot be making laws only for certain part of the population of the country.
Thank you.
They cannot and should not be making laws that they know.
Well, 3 more minutes there, Leonard. Thank you.
Yes, sir. They know that these laws are
give Greg a minute and
put these laws on the book, so that it doesn't affect other people afterwards.
Thank you.
This young man was being accused, and now we have the police commissioner getting on the TV and on the internet and cyberbullying this young man, when in fact they are claiming that this young man did some cyberbullying. They are the one doing this, the bullying of people. You have police officers going out there, instead of doing a job and arrest people who commit crime, they go beat up on some people, broke up people's ribs, broke up people's hand and foot and all kind of craziness. They are the bullies. They are not taken to task and or punished for the crimes that they commit under the color of law. As a matter of fact, they beat you down and then turn around and grab you and carry the jail, put you in the peace house for as many days as they want, and then turn around and accuse you formally of resisting the arrest. No, they call the beat down when they give you one arrest. And because you as a human being have whatever reaction you have to try and protect yourself from dying or being killed, that constitutes then, from their vantage point,
thank you, Leonard. We are both out of time.
Yes, sir.
And Greg, I give you 1 minute, and
Mr.
then
Mr. Chairman, I'm willing to bargain for another 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
For the program.
I give Leonard 3, and I'll take 2.
5. Give me 2 minutes out of the 5. I'll make it take it down to.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Leonard. Let him get. Let him get 2 more minutes. Yeah, it's running.
Go ahead. Close out the thought. Why I brought it up is because, as far as the laws are concerned, that is a civil matter. It is not. It's a civil matter, and it's not. And it's supposed to be. What do you call it now?
The non-arrestable offense.
Yeah, there's a term for it. I forget the term. Greg, you could help me out quickly.
It falls under tort law.
Yeah, I know it's tort,
Civil.
but yeah, but man, okay, let me not waste time to stress for the particular word. But in actual fact, how that situation is supposed to work out is that if Mr. Minister Man, in his high power situation, wants to hear somebody that quote.
The word is defamation of character.
Yeah, but that's not the one I was looking for. That's not what I was looking for.
Go ahead, Leonard.
But thank you, Greg. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But what happened is that is a matter that the gentleman is supposed to take to court as a civil matter. Okay? The police officers are not supposed to go and hunt that gentleman down and find him like they did and arrest her on behalf of the person that makes an allegation of that category. That's contravening the laws. And that is only being done by the police then on behalf of their elected officials as a favor. That gentleman is supposed to take his matter to the lower court or summons the gentleman. And then if the gentleman doesn't appear based on the summons from the court, the police officer then have the power of arrest to go and arrest that gentleman for failure to appear. They should not be currying no favor to go arrest that gentleman, lock him up, inconvenience her, and then when you're done, the gentleman will make the allegation may not even want to prosecute or may not have any basis on which to actually prosecute the gentleman, but then by then they already victimized the gentleman.
Thank you.
That is not correct. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you, Leonard. Greg, you have 2 minutes, Greg, for your closing.
Mr. Chairman, I listened to my good cousin, but what really happened in that case right there is a gross unconstitutional violation of the young man's civil liberties.
Exactly.
If he committed a crime, the policeman should have went, picked him up, and read him his rights immediately. What they did was they had him for nearly the full 48 hours, driving him up out to a ring walk before they can find out what they would charge him with. I believe the charge was a make-up one.
Just want to victimize and intimidate the poor young man.
Okay, but for my minutes that you gave me, sir, I will let our good PM speak for me.
Quiero que tú tienes la lista de Melchor. Digo, pero esta lista de Melchor la gente quiere $100. Es todo lo que Melchor te pide a ti. ¿Cuál es Montejo así? Toma la lista, $5,000, 5,500 queremos darle a esa gente. No, que no tiene el dinero, bueno. Señor, que el papel de vuelta, porque sé que iban a hacer tonteras. Que la gente del Melchor ya tiene dicho, Mr. Chel, si no eres tú que viene a buscarnos, con Pacheco, no vamos a salir. Porque siempre nos vienen, nos prometen $100, nos dan $30, $25 cuando llegamos a votar. Ellos colectaban $100 subiendo en el voto. Se cayó nada. Y ya me llamaron. Yo no quiero ir porque no quiero dejar a mi familia de vuelta. Quieren que vaya a trabajar Tom Board para ellos. Y yo no estoy viendo cómo Cayo puede ganar Tom Board. Eso está out of the man. Yo no sé qué usted va a decidir. De que ayudar a que el partido gane. Y sinceramente eso lo voy a decir yo. Yo no creo que nadie me esté viniendo a decir nada a mí. Si es que voy a trabajar con ustedes, con la comitiva. De que trabajar en el ISO podemos hacer para ganar la área. Salir acá afuera con nuestra gente, pero ahí quedan ustedes, que ustedes van a decidir.
Usaron $15,000 for total campaign, 1,000 t-shirts, 1,000 manifestos y 8 banners. 8 banners que te ponemos muy uso porque están así de chiquitos. We don't have, yo te estoy diciendo eso de que I won't figure it out. I don't think you have to do it from the money, and money for your after midday and then at night, or you have to get to work. Up to Tomboard election.
My people, thank you, Greg, and again, it's always a pleasure being in your company, and Leonard, I hope that our program, be educational and beneficial to our country. And on that last clip you showed there, Greg, I just hope that the people of this nation see this
treachery,
this evil that has been planned against you, those of you who live in this country and want to decide your own election and want to be able to go and support who you want to support. You see the plot that man is plotting, right? Just to garnish power, just for power. Watch it. I hope you guys digest it and saw it, and it came from your very same leader, and he cannot deny it. He will, but he had been caught again out of his own mouth what his intention for us. So, we don't like it.
Mr. Chairman,
it's okay.
Mr. Chairman, a short question. You don't have to answer it. And just it's a question I'm going to ask on the airwave.
Go ahead, Leonard.
So they could come to me to register if they think that I offend them.
Go ahead.
Where is Mr. Prime Minister going to get his $15,000 from to pay these people, to subordinate them, to participate in free elections illegally? Is he going to get that money from free treasury like he did with Mr. Ashcroft, which was comparable, hundreds of millions to Mr. Ashcroft, but just 15,000 to these people? But the point is, where is he going to get that money? Are they going to make barbecue within the hierarchy of the party to do them one fundraising to sponsor them one thing? Or is that money coming again out of weak coffers? It's just a question.
Well,
I give them one chance to answer the question. I give them a chance to then come up with an answer to the question, to save themselves, because people will ask questions.
It will come on the backs of the taxpayers. That's taxpayers' money. He'll find a way to embezzle that money. He'll find a way like they always does, and it's a habitual practice.
But so he can afford it. He won telephone company. Well, at least he won big shares. He don't want the company anymore, but he won big shares still yet. The telephone company.
Yes, I want to acknowledge. Is there anybody quick?
He won gas stations. So the man is flush with money, and he could come up with that money out of his own pocket.
Is there anybody, Greg or Leonard, quick that we should recognize real quick? Okay, well, you want to give us 2 minutes, 2 extra minutes?
Yes, sir.
Sure, man.
Yeah, make it close at 40. We can't go beyond 40 though, because
just acknowledge those people and we close. Just acknowledge those people and we close. And like I say, it's always a pleasure, and thanks to our viewers and listeners who support us and who tune in to us. Thank you all for your support. Continue to support us.
Okay, let me see if I can read up. Greg.
Are we ready to close?
Go ahead, Leonard.
I need to read it.
Yeah, I need to read out, Greg, a couple of texts that we get in.
Okay, so we had one from Ms. Rubina Forte. She was saying good night, and I responded with a care emoji. I also responded by saying, Ms. Rubina Forte, thank you for tuning in to Belizean Affairs show number 102. Oh, no, this is 103. I'm reading the wrong thing there now. Sorry. Holy mackerel.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Basically, that is correct also for 103. It's the same thing. Then there's one other posted there by Miss Phyllis Fuller. She says, one thing I applauded, one thing I applauded you when you said past and present. That is to Mr. Wade, I guess, because you had made comments that both past and present government have been playing shenanigans with the country.
Exactly.
Ms. Phyllis Fuller, thank you for tuning in, Ms. Phyllis, and for participating in the program. God bless.
Thank you very much. God bless. Thank you, guys, and it's always a pleasure to be in the company and say good night. Thank you very much.
God
Greg, take it away.